like Noah was saying, it's there's so much of that show that does not hold up in terms of like age difference. Like not because it's a bad show or anything, just because like
people will see it, a show like Community or The Office, and be like, that would never fly in today's culture.
Speaking of good times, Noah, do you want to talk about a show you've been watching recently?
Yeah. So I've still been watching Hell's Kitchen.
Today is Minecraft's birthday and Fingers in His Ass Sunday.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That is true. It's both things.
Did Hatsune Miku give us both things or just one of them?
No, a horrible.
Just
well,
one.
You know what? Can we credit Hatsune Miku with both?
No,
because
Hatsune Miku didn't make Fingers in His Ass.
Okay, fair.
That was an expression piece by Sansen Komeda.
You're
what
right.
A genius,
you're right.
honestly. Anyway, I'm very sorry. I tuned out.
You had it
realized-
open.
Did you-
You had a great open and you blew it. Welcome back to Off the Air, where Noah blows his opens 3 times out of 10.
What do you mean? That was not my fault. Come on now. All right, here
You
we
did
go.
just kind of like you had the floor and you just went.
Yeah, that is what happened. I
mean, I was trying to figure out how.
That's Noah.
Noah was trying to figure out how to transition to my wisdom teeth being taken out from Hatsune Miku, and I wasn't quite sure how to do it.
I wish Hatsune Miku would take my wisdom teeth out.
There it is.
She probably would. She's pretty great. All right, so
Wow.
so here's
you really
the story.
think she'd do that for me?
Oh yeah, why not? Right?
I was actually born without wisdom teeth.
Really?
Really?
Yep.
Fuck you.
I was only
Jealous.
born with 3.
I'm a genetically superior being.
Yeah, fair. I think we talked
I'm the
about
future
this.
of humanity. I think we probably have two, yeah.
I remember you talking about how you were the genetically superior being. Because I think we talked about when I got my wisdom teeth out, actually.
I'm the future of humanity.
No.
So,
The
Dan,
wisdom toothless future.
do you remember when you got your teeth taken out? Did you hear any of the stuff the doctors were talking about?
Doctors. I had one doctor. It was
Whatever,
just one
the
person.
doctor.
No, were they talking smack about you or something?
No, mine weren't talking. They were very focused.
No,
You think
so
those doctors are like, man, this guy kind of sucks.
No, okay, so-
and he's like, oh.
so mine were like doing a lot of like real general purpose talking that I didn't fully understand. Now, they had given me a pill to take beforehand that was just going to relax me so that I would get put under by the anesthesia better, right?
Oh, you went under. Okay, yeah,
I went
that's
under.
right.
Last time I got surgery, they gave me a jagged little pill to listen to relax me for the surgery.
Yeah, I
It's
did
a
not.
classic Alanis Morissette album.
I did not go under. I was awake for the whole thing.
Did they put on Alanis Morissette?
No, they gave me nothing but the sound of a. Never mind.
That
Like a
sounds
drill?
so much more questionable than
Well, no, like
no,
the sound
it
of.
sounded exactly as questionable as I wanted to
No,
think you
no,
wanted it to be.
not even so much a drill,
A tree
just the
falling
sound
in
of
the woods?
like, because like, okay,
Cutting.
so I don't want to steal Noah's story, but like you can, like if you're awake for it, you can hear them, like they rip the teeth out. You know, like it's essentially just like stick a screwdriver. Like the very like baseline version of it is they stick something in there to help pry the tooth out and then fucking force that tooth out. Like that's how it works. Like that's how wisdom teeth removal works. And like so I was able to hear like bone being separated from bone. Like that was just a thing that happened, and it was awful.
Yeah, because they split the teeth in half
good
and then
sound.
they pull the bits out.
Exactly.
So when you hear somebody break a bone, it's a weird feel. It's a weird sound.
Mm-hmm.
When you can hear it from distance, you're like, oh, like that's not a good one.
And when
I
from
have
inside
managed
your
to
own
avoid
head,
that
it's
right
even
now.
worse.
Well, see, good news, Dan.
You went under.
As I was under, that's not stealing the thunder from my story at all. No, so here's what happened. The doctors were just like conversing, and I specifically remember them saying what they set the anesthesia to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember
Was it
what it was
69?
now, but I remember them
Aw.
specifying. Yeah, I'm sorry. But like at the time, I remember them being like, all right, and you set it to this. This is like how high you're supposed to set it for stuff like this. And it's like, oh, okay, that's neat. And then the doctor comes in, and I'm still very much awake. I'm like chilling, but I'm like,
You're
I
alive.
am around still.
Mm-hmm.
Just vibing.
And this doctor comes in and he's just like, he looks over at me, he's like, why is he still awake? And they're like, well, you know, it sometimes takes a little longer to knock him out. And he looks over at the anesthesia and he's like, oh, why is this only set to like 10 or whatever? And they're like, well, that's as high as you're supposed to set it. And he's like, oh no. And then I just hear like the squeaking of a knob being turned.
And then you were gone.
The last thing I remember was him saying, you need to have this up near lethal amounts to knock people out.
Amazing.
And that is the last thing I heard.
God, that's
up-
terrifying.
I woke
That's
up in a
amazing.
dark room, wrapped up in a blanket, sitting in the most uncomfortable chair.
Did you think you died?
No, I didn't think I died. I was so confused though, because I was in a new place in a blanket that wasn't mine, my dad wasn't around, even though he was the one who had taken me there. It threw me off in a big way.
How did you not think you died?
Yeah, no, I would have 100% been sure that I died.
So I guess the thing with like anesthesia is whatever your last thoughts are, they come back to you when you come back up.
Mhm.
Like a pretty common thing apparently is people who have gone under. The guys are like, all right, count backward from 10 and then you'll be good to go. And people will like 10, 9, and then they wake up and they're like 8, 7, you know, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't think I died, but I was very confused as to where I was.
Yeah,
In
that's
hindsight, I really should have thought I died because following up, oh no, you need to have that way higher than that for that to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's I don't know, that story popped back into my head recently, and before I forget any more details about it, I really wanted to commit it to recording because
It's because you died.
Because
Noah.
you died. You've been dead for 10
This
years.
is the other side.
Noah died. Oh, that was actually Jackson. The day I got mine
no.
taken out, you saw
Yeah.
my brother because he borrowed my cell phone at the time. Terrible little flip phone, but he went to band practice with the youth group that you were
Okay,
that we were all in.
Yeah.
And since I was out, you were playing bass.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
When was this, Noah?
yesterday.
I don't know, dude. A little while ago, at least
Okay,
yesterday.
6 years ago.
Yeah,
6
okay.
or 7 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, that
7.
was
No
that,
more-
I need the context.
No more than 8.
Okay, but no less than 4.
No,
Definitely.
way more than.
I mean, I lived in Texas for like 4 years.
Okay,
yeah.
so I was not working at the chicken place. So that was at least 7 years ago. It was no more than 10. How about that one? Because I
There
was
we go.
driving.
Wild.
So it was somewhere in the area of 17 to 19.
No, I think it would have had to been because I would have had to have been probably like 15 or 16
Mhm.
at the time. Because if it was 10 years ago, I would have only been 13, which would have been like I wouldn't have known you guys at that point in time. I don't think I knew you guys to like 10th grade, just about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe ninth grade.
Mhm.
No, I think 10th grade. So yeah, I feel like
In hindsight, you might not have been there then. I thought
might
you
not
were,
have been.
but you might not have been there.
it would have been like 2013. So like 7 years ago.
No. Yeah, that would have been before that then because I was already working at, I started work at Chick-fil-A at 2012.
Oh, you said the
And this
name.
was before
You
that.
ruined it.
I've said it before.
I think
You
you said it
definitely
several
have.
times.
But you would refer to it as a chicken place like 10 minutes ago.
I honestly, I thought it was weirder when I tried to hide it just then. I was just like,
Fair.
why did I do that? But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
there's my anesthesia story. Great, right? It's the one fun thing that I remember from that. The only other thing that happened to me was my sister was the best because she kept changing out my like face ice and she bought me
Feist. We call it Feist, but yeah.
she bought me hot tamales like the candy, but it was a
Mm-hmm.
it was a chapstick.
Mm.
So I had fun cinnamon chapstick that I used every time I woke up, which was every 20 minutes, but I didn't register that I was doing it every 20 minutes.
Amazing.
Pain meds are pretty exciting, really.
Freaking
Yeah.
trip, dude.
Yeah, when you're like at post surgery and you're just like kind of just like in that like pain med stupor. You're
Oh,
like,
this
this is like silly, and you're like high on pain meds, and as soon as you're not, you're like, it hurts.
That was back when I was at the gelato shop. So that,
I did know you back then.
that
So
was
maybe I just knew you guys longer than I thought.
I'll be honest. I'd purged that like horrible like teeth cracking sound. Like I get like the sensation of it from my memory, and talking about it has
Yeah.
brought it back in a very like real way. And like now my jaw feels weird and my whole face feels wrong, and I don't
Cool.
appreciate that.
It was 2011.
Yeah, I guess I might have known you guys then.
Fantastic. What a weird time. To figure out the time frame, I went onto my Facebook to see what my like job history was.
Gross.
And I won't lie, this is bringing up some very unhappy memories.
Yeah, back when Noah was trash.
No, were you trash back then?
Yes.
Same.
Damn.
Man, what a
me
weird
too.
stretch of time when I held like 3 jobs. I hated that.
Yeah, no, that shit's gross. I've only had to do that for a couple of months ever, and that shit's garbage. 0 to 10.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, though,
I don't think I've ever had more than one job at a time.
it's
Never
honestly
never really had the need.
not worth it.
No,
you know?
0 to 10 not
Yeah,
worth.
I just kind of always would. I'd rather have the one job that I worked like 60 hours at than 2 jobs that I work 30 hours at. It just seems way more convenient to just work like 90 hours a week and hate yourself, but only at one place.
I always
You also
worked-
get the bonus of overtime that way.
You'd think so.
You
But the overtime
know,
for a server is like
yeah.
$4.
I always worked at places that were just air quotes respectable enough that they couldn't do that because they weren't going to give me overtime. So they could only ever give me like 39 and a half hours a week. So I had to find another place that would give me 10 and another place that would give me another 10. Yeah.
Also, you just kind of make like mad bank when you're serving and bartending.
Fair.
Yeah, that does work.
I used to like make like 15, $20 an hour with like, a good smile and a story or two.
That's the one like area of customer service that I never had to work, and I almost wish I had, because I've always thought bartending would be really fun, but
That's the money one.
I don't know, man. I just never. It's not something I'm willing to like go do now. Like I would if I had to, obviously, but like I'm happy to work as a fucking desk jockey for a while. Like I wouldn't want to have to go do bartending as a job, like ever.
It's all right as long as you. It's cool until you have to deal with like old people, and then you're like, now I have to, in order to not lose my job or get in trouble, have to be generally cordial with someone who's openly racist.
Yep.
Yeah, that is my least favorite thing about my job is just like doing that uncomfortable chuckle when people say things I just straight up disagree with. Because
only your job, you have things that can hurt them. So
That's
there's like
true.
a little bit of
there's a
my
little bit
job,
of give and take, but they do all think that I am on their side.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem. And like because they're paying you and because you have to and you're not in charge of the place, you kind of are forced to be on their side, which is always terrible.
Yeah, less than fun, but and I hate to say, but that's life. But
that do be
sometimes
life.
When you're not like the owner, it kind of is. I mean, where I work is pretty good. Like if someone were to come in and just be like, I hate, like minorities, I'd be like, okay, well, you're not allowed here because you're racist, like incredibly. But it's a lot more of like the diet type of stuff. Where
the
people
casual
are like,
racism.
Yeah, casual racism and casual transphobia and all that stuff. Where it's just like you're saying it and you're so obviously a terrible person that I hate, but like it's also not anything that is actually like punishable by like
it's
getting kicked
not
out.
Crossing the line enough for you to be able to be like,
exactly.
Hey, buddy. Because it'll end up being one of those things where you end up losing your job and it doesn't end up making a point for anyone outside of people being like, wow, those snowflakes really are too sensitive. And it's like, come on.
Yep. That's the worst part of it. But a lot of it's cool. And you get a lot of like neat young people and people from out of town who are just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
Especially in the summer. Not so much in the winter, but.
Speaking of good times, Noah, do you want to talk about a show you've been watching recently?
Yeah. So I've still been watching Hell's Kitchen. I have now watched all 18 seasons.
That's a
There's
lot.
18 seasons
There's 18
of it?
Yeah, dude.
seasons?
It's all on
Dude,
YouTube. There's a guy who
on my way home
uploaded
from
it all.
work.
The uncensored stuff too. So you get to have the
can't.
full fun of
Oh,
it.
Gordon Ramsay's wiener?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon
puts it out.
Ramsay hangs dong in episode 7 of season 13, and it's like,
I
wow,
really like
okay, Gordon.
your use of Hang Song.
My girlfriend and I have been watching Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen on YouTube, and it's
What
somehow
is Gordon Ramsay's kitchen?
it's like it's him doing little like recipes and
That's
shit
where
out
it's
of his
at.
own kitchen. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, but actually, I prefer it the most because there's nobody. It's not like he's just kind of talking through what he's doing rather than like talking to anyone else. And he has a very like calming voice when he's not yelling at people.
He really does. And the fact of the matter is, like, all of his like blank nightmare shows are like scripted to death. So it's not that fun. I know, right?
No way.
Yeah.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
They script TV.
No,
know,
not all TV, just most TV.
After watching 18 seasons of Hell's Kitchen, Nina and I are really able to pick up like, oh, they clearly did prompt them for some of these, even though it like brags like that it's an unscripted event and it's like reality TV. It's like, I see that they are also mentioning that they are a single parent conveniently at this point of the game. I really think that this might be scripted.
Yeah.
You know what I love like Chopped because it's just like, how do you consistently find 4 chefs that all have like a really tragic backstory?
My favorite one, you could borderline
That they
make
just
a
like
bingo
conveniently say in
card
segments.
out of some of those. It's like, all right, is it going to be the woman from Texas? Because being from Texas is a big thing. But being a woman from Texas who's just like, I'm just here to show the big boys that I can hang in the kitchen. And just because I'm a girl doesn't mean that I can't cook like them, type of thing. And it's like, okay, so that's one.
Bad accent, but okay.
Thanks. It was intentionally bad.
Okay, fair enough.
But then there's the other ones that it's like, my grandma was a lesbian and she taught me everything she knows about cooking.
Is that a real story? Like on Hell's Kitchen?
No, not Hell's Kitchen, but like on like competition cooking shows. That is not word for word something that I heard on one of them. I don't remember what it was.
I love competition cooking shows because everyone's got like their I don't know, their story. The best are the people who are like, my mom was from really obscure place and my dad was from really obscure place and I fused the two cookings together. And it's someone who's like, yeah, I exclusively make like Samoan and Ukrainian fusion. You're like, what do you
I love stuff like that. And then, but the best part is when they come in with attitudes like that and they're like, yeah, so what I have for you today is my Creole inspired, like something that's not Creole at all. Like my Creole inspired, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that literally can't be combined with anything else because it's just too blatantly what it is. My Creole inspired grilled cheese, and the only thing that they added was like, you know, some grilled shrimp on the side or something like stupid like that, you know?
This is pretty inspired. I don't know. Well, I mean, they didn't say they were inspired well.
Exactly.
It could have been terrible inspiration, but it's still that inspiration.
And then they get sent home and they're like, I guess people just weren't ready to see what I brought to the table. It's like, nah, dude, what you brought to the table was just like some ugly food. That was the problem.
Yeah, I also do love the people who are like the fusion chefs who are like, I combine my ancestors' cooking styles, and you're like, all right, that's pretty neat. And then they're like,
here's a cheeseburger.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, here's a mac and cheese, and you're like, well, that's I don't know where you got that from. But like in one point they'll be like, and because of my mother's Ukrainian ancestry, I'm gonna grab beets, and you're like, okay, and there's like a sliced beet on top, and you're like, wow, she really did do that Samoan Ukrainian fusion dish.
I remember just very vaguely from when I watched it way back when. I remember every now and again you get ones where they're like, yeah, so I know my prompt was like a grilled cheese, but I just, you know, I really felt like I should really lean into these inspirations that I feel inside me, and I instead made I took some cheese and I took an entire baguette and I made them separate, but I just kind of melted the cheese on the side, and that's my grilled cheese. And I'm like, that you didn't do that.
You made a fondue with grilled bread, buddy.
you didn't do the prompt, fam. Like it's very simple.
My all-time favorite is when people come in here with Asian fusion dishes, and what Asian fusion means is sesame oil, sesame seeds, rice, and soy sauce appear in your dish. And that's it.
You forgot about gochujang.
Well, that's a little exploration heavy there, Jackson. You got to pull back at least two of those other ingredients.
Sriracha, maybe? Because, like, I mean, that's...
Sriracha's like ketchup anymore in those shows. I'm amazed. They're like, oh, this is a chili sauce. And it's like, dude, it's sriracha. Come on now. I can see the bottle on your station.
And they have, like, the roots are censored, and like, it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like you also get, like... I feel like gochujang is something you see way too much in those shows, in that, like, people will put it where it doesn't belong, and then the judge is like, hey, man, this just isn't good. Like, you just put like a Korean chili paste on like chicken parm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're like,
yeah, I was trying to reach
because
out
of my
there a little
fusion
more.
heritage, and they're like, no, dude, that doesn't work. Like, you didn't make it work.
Like, there's ways you could make it work. Mix that into a better sauce. Don't just put it on the... My favorite is when people just put like a jarred sauce on the plate, and the guy's just like, so you didn't do anything to this chili sauce? And they're like, well, I put it in a little thing and I gave it a smear. And he's like, but you didn't mix it with anything. You just put from the bottle to the plate and you didn't do anything to it. And he's like, yep. And he's like, all right, well, that's points off.
Just lie. Like, yeah, I did.
I made that canned chutney. Yeah. I know it looks like it was, pressure canned, but I made that in 30 minutes. Along with my braised pork ribs. It's amazing. Man, I love competition cooking shows.
I really like the people in the competition cooking shows and in cooking shows in general who don't shy away from, not, I guess you could say, I don't want to call them trash ingredients, but trash ingredients.
Yeah.
Like, people who are just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll eat the worst cut of beef because it's still good.
I do love that.
Those are the people that are my favorite. Because, like, the people who are too good for trash food, come on, dude. We get it. We get it. You went to culinary school. All right, cool. Now eat the pork tenderloin.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's not that bad.
The best is when you get people who are happy with trash food that are competing next to people who are like the snobbiest people. And then they'll do their little behind the scenes interviews and they're like, yeah, I saw Chef John grab, this. And I'm like, wow, you just fucked up. You're going home. And then, fast forward to the end of it and they get sent home that round and they're like, I guess the judge just doesn't understand what fine dining is.
That is one thing though, they really don't ever disrespect the judges, to be fair.
I feel like they don't to their face.
There's some where they, not to their face, but there are some when people are like heading home, they really, like some shows like Cutthroat Kitchen is a big one where they sometimes will try to call out the judges and be like, yeah, I guess that I don't remember any of their names outside of Jet Tilo right now, but I guess Jet just doesn't understand what it's like to eat real blank cooking, or they just don't know what it's like to have to put up with all these sabotages. It's like, nah, man, they do actually. They just don't care. It's the show, dude. You signed
the
up for
point of the
this.
show is that they're not going to be like, well, we saw that you got sabotaged, so we're just going to give you bonus points for that. And the whole point of the sabotage is to make it kind of unfair.
Yeah, we noticed that you had to do all your cutting with a sharpened doorstop, so we will treat your shitty knife cuts kindly. No, they don't do that, and that's why that show is amazing.
Yeah, they're like, hey, this cut sucks, and you're like, well, I did use a doorstop for that.
You're like, cool, doesn't make it not suck.
Alton behind him. I'll kill you for saying that. You know that, right?
Alton Brown, Good Eats is the best Alton Brown thing.
Good Eats is
I'm not
really
actually a big
good.
fan of Cutthroat Kitchen.
I'm not a big fan of cooking shows in general.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They're
no, I'm
fun.
not a huge competition or cooking show person. Just not really my scene.
Iron Chef is really good, or I haven't watched it in forever because it's not. I don't think it's still on the air. But Iron Chef is pretty based, just because it's like it's like professional chefs, and like it was the same cast more or less.
Mhm.
So it kind of gives you like that like chopped vibe of like elimination style cooking and like competition cooking, but while maintaining like a cast that is consistent, so you can be like, oh, it's Bobby Flay back at it again, and Mario Batali and Kat Cora and all the gang. So that was a cool aesthetic, and they also did like Chop. They had like the mystery ingredients and stuff. Beat Bobby Flay is pretty fun. I don't know if you guys have watched that.
Sometimes I really, really hate Beat Bobby Flay because I hate Bobby Flay.
Okay, that's disrespectful, and don't ever speak to me again.
Well, I just don't. He comes in, he's like, yeah, I'm here to throw down with this, local famous barbecue joint.
I love it.
And the guy at the barbecue joint's just like, yeah, I smoke my meat for like 300 hours, and then I serve it with my family's secret recipe barbecue sauce, and everyone loves it because it's the best food on planet Earth. And Bobby's just like, I'm here to kick this man's ass with my dry rub vinegar zing. And everyone's just like, Bobby Flay's better. It's like, dude, what? Where's your local
I love it.
pride?
I love it so
actually
much.
saying that, I think I might actually enjoy watching it again a lot more than I remember.
That's why I love it so much, because he just like hulks out on people. They'll be like, I've been studying exclusively sushi for 60 years and I've never made another dish. I challenge you to make sushi against me. It's like, yeah, one time I made sushi in college, and he just beats them at it. and then like the judge is like, man, and it's like blind too. They don't know who's who, and they're like, we go with this dish, and they're like, Bobby Flay, you just beat an 80-year-old master sushi chef.
And Bobby Flay, you know why he wins? He ends up coming in with his like, I know that traditionally you're not allowed to put American cheese and pork chops in sushi, but I thought, what if I did? And then he does, and it's this out there thing that people are like, oh wow, yeah, that was actually really good. I feel like I also should note, don't do that, because that actually sounds atrocious.
No, that sounds
I'll
awful.
try it. That sounds fine. It's just pork, rice, and cheese.
It's
okay.
See, it's just the
Why is that awful?
I'm just imagining like a little like stick of American cheese, like just a cube of it. I don't like eating American cheese straight. I'll eat any cheese straight except that.
I think American cheese gets a lot of shit. That's pretty good.
I love American cheese on things, but I can't eat it straight.
But you're not eating it straight. You got pork and rice.
Well, cold. How about that? I don't like eating it cold.
When I'll
eat it in a like white bread bologna and American cheese sandwich. I'm fine with that. Cold.
That's a classic. Yeah, it's great. It's so good on cold cuts.
Yeah.
It's got a good consistency for it. That's back to like the trash food thing. I feel like I can get down with like an artisan smoked cheese and different kinds of cheeses. I don't, but like American cheese slaps sometimes. Like American cheese and salami on white bread goes hard.
I gotta disagree. But that I think is because when I was growing up, my dad, I'm not even joking, I think he actually might have believed that there was no other cheese. Like it was that and fucking shredded cheddar for salad. That was it. That was the cheese in the house. And
did he get fancy Velveeta, or was it just like Kraft singles?
No. Oh no, it was Kraft singles.
I mean, like the great value Kraft singles.
Well, yes, because we couldn't afford Kraft. Don't be ridiculous.
Because that's actually, I have a stack of Kraft of the great value.
They go hard.
Like
they go hard.
Kraft
I just wish they
singles.
weren't individually wrapped. I usually just don't buy them simply because they're individually wrapped.
That's fair.
I'll just go to the deli and get like cheese sliced off a block. It breaks my heart because I want to get some Kraft singles every once in a while.
But yeah, so with that said, I cannot eat straight American. I actually don't know the last time I had American cheese on something.
It's good. Yeah, I had like a cheese renaissance at some point in my life where like think when I first started like living on my own, where I was like, I'm buying my own cheese now, and I would just like get like as many different kinds of cheeses I guess I could from like the Whole Foods.
Mhm.
I did that for a while, and then I was just like, any cheese will do, any cheese in a storm. And then like we've talked about this on the podcast before, how my opinion is that any cheese works where cheese works.
No?
Yeah, we totally talked about this for like 40 minutes one time.
I'm blanking on this real hard. Go over this hot take again.
If it's cheese, it goes good in something that's cheese based. Like any cheese can replace any other cheese in my world.
That's
I'll be probably fine with it.
I can agree to a point, but
no,
also
I
I
can't
don't
agree
want
at all.
Well, no,
That's the
because I
worst.
don't want a sandwich with like a really dry cheese, like a Parmesan or a Romano. I wouldn't
can do
want
it.
a slice of it. I would eat it because
Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
like
saying.
cheese,
Exactly.
but I would be much less happy with that than another cheese.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying it's every cheese can replace them with the same effect and or even with better effect sometimes. But like, if it might be worse, but it'll be fine.
Now,
Like,
binging with Babish,
I'll have a
he did
cheddar
a thing
cheesecake.
recently
I don't care.
where he wanted to make a better grilled cheese, and he's like, well, I mean, obviously the first step to do a better grilled cheese is you need to use better cheese, but
I
the
don't know.
issue is
I
that
don't know how to
processed
do it.
cheese melts really nice.
It really does.
So what he
it's
ended
also,
up doing-
it's because it's lower fat content.
Well, the thing he ended up doing was he got the various, like, I don't know, like whatever processing agents you need to make like an American cheese, and
Mhm.
he blended like Parmesan and like sharp white cheddar
That'd be fun.
and stuff like that. He blended everything together and then made processed aged cheese
Yeah, sounds like fun.
so that it would like
Huh.
melt properly. And he said it's all like the good taste and good times of like a regular aged cheese with none of the bad melting of a nice dry cheese.
Yeah, no, I could down with most any cheese substitutions. But I also feel like my cheese take is kind of at the point where like my beer take is, which is
Mhm.
just like I don't care anymore. I'm too
That's
tired
fair.
of like nitpicking about like the beer corner now is just full of Miller Lite. I don't care. I don't actually drink Miller Lite. I don't really drink that much beer anymore. But like it's exhausting to try and like care
Mhm.
about something that is so trivial and has so little impact on ultimately like who I am and what I do.
I get that.
It just it's mind numbing.
Mhm.
Same with cheese. Where I'm just like, you know what? Honestly, just fuck me up, boss. Give me whatever. I'll take the cheese. I'll take the beer. And just been drinking a lot of Blue Moon Light lately.
I almost bought some of that today after
It's good.
after
It's
the ones that
delightful.
you introduced me to. I'm
Low alcohol
realizing
content, low calorie, low carb. It's good.
more and
Tastes good.
more I'm realizing I just really don't like the heavy beers that I was like interested in like last year.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have like the beer renaissance where you start drinking beer more and you're like, okay, I want to get exciting with this. I want to go,
Mhm.
go around the world of sorts. And then after a while, I'm just like, you know what? Just any cheese will do.
I really like this Blue Moon Light. It's a light beer that doesn't
Hey, it's
taste shitty, and it's got a citrus touch, which I really do like a citrus touch in my beer.
I also do pound a good icy light every once in a while, which if you're not from the region, it's a Iron City Light. It's like a Pittsburgh local light beer. So it's kind of neat because it's like it's got all your like shittiness and inexpensive qualities of a Bud Light, but it's locally made more or less.
Nice.
It's great. Yeah. But like I don't know, I just can't be bothered with it anymore. Cheese, beer, they're all just give me one, I guess. I like them all. I don't think they're all the same. And I can tell you there's differences, and I can even point out some of the differences.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, the differences matter so little to me that they're interchangeable. And not because the differences are small, but just because to me they just don't matter.
Yeah.
So don't go thinking this guy doesn't know about the difference between the Parmesan and the American cheese. I do, and I can tell you, I can taste them apart. But I just don't care anymore. I have more important things to do with my time.
I can respect it. There's like, it's one of those things where as you go on, you're like, there's different battles for me to fight.
Yeah, exactly. I'd eat spray cheese at this point.
I unironically do enjoy spray cheese.
I don't think I've had it since I was like 10.
I had some, and when I say recently, I mean within the last 5 years. But man,
You know what's
I
a
do like that
trash
garbage
food
stuff.
that garners a lot of respect?
Hmm.
And it gets respect almost for the trash elements of it. And Dan, this is more in your wheelhouse. But the classic cheesesteak of Philadelphia.
Nah, man. Classic cheesesteaks are only okay.
Yeah, but their respect is garnered through their trash elements.
That is true. That is true.
Which is
However,
which is why I prize them highly.
I have seen many argue argue that no, they are actually like the pinnacle of cuisine. And no, there's some trash garbage food, and that's okay. I do love me some trash garbage food.
What if trash garbage is a pinnacle of cuisine?
Don't know that I'll back that, but I mean, it can be that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if someone, if you're a trash person, maybe I feel like that might be the core issue here. Is less that like I don't care about like the beers and the cheeses, but more that I'm just becoming more garbage.
Listen. As long
I own a shirt with a possum on it now.
Listen,
a possum shirt.
I thought you were gonna put a possum on your cheesesteak, and I'm like, that's a choice.
I would probably not eat possum because I like them.
That does not sound pleasant to me, if we're being honest.
That's just because you're a coward, Noah. But
even when I eat like venison, I feel kind of weird because I like deer. I'm like,
I mean, that's fair.
Cows, I like cows in the sense that they're like just dumb grass dogs, but I don't really feel for them.
Yeah.
Because I've only ever been wronged by cows. I've never been done right by a cow.
Mm-hmm.
You never had a cow
Horses?
save your life and then look over his shoulder as he walks by and be like, next time.
Moo.
No,
I've only ever had experiences with cows where like they're just generally inconvenient.
Fair.
So horses, I'd eat 10 horses a day. Hate them. Don't trust them. Don't like them.
Fair.
I eat a horse before a cow.
All right.
And ride a cow before a horse.
I was going to say, you
sure
eat a horse
meat
before a cow, but you're also very, very ready and willing to eat a cow.
Man, I like horses. I'm a huge horse fan. I found out that that's a very odd take. Like a lot of people I know do not like horses, find them creepy or find them just straight up like terrifying.
I just, we have cars.
Yeah. I mean, no, I get that on that level, sure, but
and they're kind of ugly.
Ooh, strong disagree.
Why the long face and like if they were shaggy like a pony, I can get down with a pony. Like the shaggy ponies, love them.
I don't know, man. Sleek horses are pretty dope. I'm a huge fan of like a really like muscular sleek horse. Huge fan. I know this is gonna come back and be but that's because you're a furry thing. But fuck it. It's not. But I'm gonna stand by.
I didn't even thought that.
I don't think anyone would have thought that except that you have now said that, which makes me wonder.
Now it does make me wonder as well.
No, fair thing to wonder. I'm gonna stand by. No, that's not it. Just think horses are cool.
You did bring it up though.
Yeah, that's fair. I did bring it up, but I was trying to preempt the what I view to be an inevitable turn.
I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it now.
No,
I'm just like maybe dancing to that.
I really do feel like a lot of your issues with people thinking you're a furry are really just kind of your own fault.
That's fair. No, that part I agree with.
Are you gaslighting
that's
is this fur lighting? Are you gaslighting this fur man?
No, that one's not even gaslighting. That's just a fact.
Well, maybe if you're being gaslit, you're gonna say you're not being gaslit.
Ooh, that's true.
That's the whole point of it.
It's true. I don't know. Apparently, we've discovered you can know you're being gaslit and it can still work.
Yeah, it's one of those where like you kind of like almost like Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Where like you know what's happening, but like then at a point you kind of almost forget or just think that like maybe it's not actually happening, or maybe like something else is happening along, or you just buy into it at one point, or you just give up. Like me and beer and cheese.
Fair. Speaking of cool animals, no, there was another TV show you've been watching.
That was
I brought cool it all the way fucking back, you fucker.
I was ready to bring it back to that, but then you brought it back with like a really contrived thing because I mean,
hey, no, hold on. That show has amazing animals. Every animal in that show is so cool.
I will not disagree with that. I love Momo. Okay, I've been
Momus.
I have been told by very many people over the last I don't know
Mimo.
How long have we been doing this podcast? Almost 2 years now. For like almost 2 years, I have had people tell me, "Hey Noah, you really need to watch Avatar," and I've been like, but isn't the Blue People movie better? And they're like, no. Stop.
Yes.
And I'm like, but isn't the Shyamalan movie better? And they're like, no, stop.
That's the funniest one.
And, I just had fun, like, gaslighting people with stuff like that while I had sat here never having seen it. Was very, very funny. However, enough people in my life have been like, you need to watch this. And Nina really wanted to watch it with me. And Emma had access to it and was like, here, watch it. So I watched it. And now it's on Netflix, which is even more convenient because
it's true, very convenient.
It's just fantastic, We have finished the first season, and boy howdy, I'm really enjoying this show.
It's fun.
I am not. I kind of wish I had watched it back when it was on Netflix. What, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, because the fact that it is a kids show, some of that
It's got a lot
writing,
of childlike wonder to it.
there's
and some of the dialogue
there are a
and
lot
stuff.
of elements that do not age well.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a social sense where it's like if
Yeah,
a
we get
kid
it.
saw
And he was racist.
exactly.
I mean, Sokka it was kind of a misogynistic dickbag for like a while.
That's part of his growth arc though, is that he is no longer like that, and I think that's okay. But
But like
fair.
in the frame of the media, that behavior was wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is true.
at no point were they like, no, actually, we need to tolerate the fact that Sokka thinks women don't know how to fight. No, they sent him to a city where only women fight, and they beat the
Exactly.
shit out of him, and he
It's
was
pretty
like,
good.
"Wow, maybe I'm wrong."
And
Yeah.
then he was
Yeah,
then literally
that's-
2 episodes later he's like, actually though. But
That's
actually
something I really like in media when they do like, and people will see it and be like, this would never fly today. Kind of like when you see like The Office, or I've been watching. They put Community on Netflix, so I've been watching Community again because it's wonderful.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's Community. If you haven't seen Community, it's on Netflix now. You should watch it. It's really great. But anyway, it's one of those where like people will see it, a show like Community or The Office, and be like, that would never fly in today's culture. But as I was watching Community, like several of the characters' whole thing is just that they're a piece of shit. That's like their whole deal. And some of them, like the one dude is literally like racist and homophobic, and like so he's always making racist and homophobic jokes, and like people will see that and be like, "Oh, that would never fly in today's society," except for the fact that the entire show is structured around how that's unacceptable and wrong, and how he's the butt of all of those jokes. He just thinks he's being funny. Everyone else thinks he's atrocious and is laughing at him for different reasons at other points in the show. So it's like in the frame of the narrative, the behavior is called out as being wrong. So it would totally fly in today's society because it's like, yeah, of course it's not right to be racist.
Also,
Yeah,
I
you
feel
think we
like it's
didn't know that in
important to point out
2009?
Always Sunny in Philadelphia is actively still making content.
Mhm.
So clearly
wild
that
to me.
stuff, clearly some jokes still do be flying today.
Yeah, and but it's Always Sunny is the same kind of deal where like when they're doing these things that are socially unacceptable, it's not like they're being cheered for it.
No.
They're actively coming to terms with why what they're doing is wrong, or they're unaccepting of what they're doing is wrong, and the audience is meant to see that as a joke.
Yeah, and that's okay.
So but the problem is the people who are like that will see the show and be like, it gets me. You're like, nope, you just don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the Community is a pretty good example of that, and it's also really worth watching.
I wonder if that's related to the old, like the now I feel like semi-common trope of like people glorifying bad characters and things. Like people who are like, whoa, that wouldn't fly to me
It
if they're
is,
like,
yeah.
if they're like, oh, but like these characters are still the protagonists, so they have to be right about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the same as like
Like BoJack
People
or
who are
Rick and Morty kind of thing.
exactly. It's the same, but for like out of touch people. I mean, those are out of touch people as well, but out of touch in a more malicious social sense, like out of like racist people basically. But yeah, it's that's just something that I've been thinking about lately, and that fits in with what you're talking about, and it fits in with what I've been watching. But no, continue your talk about the Last Airbender.
Oh, yeah. I decided in the first we had watched like 3 or 4 episodes, and I was like, you know what? Sokka is my favorite character in this show. And Nina at the time was like, he's your favorite? And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, he's funny. Look at him. He's
he's
a
looking
to be a
dumbass. He's
like definitely top 3 in my
idiot.
book.
And yeah, and she's like, so not Uncle Iroh? And I'm like, well, no, like T-Boy's fine.
You wouldn't know anything about him, even in the first season, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, by the end of the first season, I had fully fallen in love with him, of course, because of course you do. He's really
Yeah.
good.
He's
But
very good.
before that, it was just like,
Early season, it's hard to be like, yeah, Iroh, this character that has
And
been on screen a whole total
also-
of 5 minutes.
mhm.
Yeah, and also he's not like one of the main crew. I mean, he's a main character, but he's not like a main.
He's not the
like,
core
he's
3 or
not in the
4. Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a tertiary. Like he's in a lot of episodes, but he's more in like a supportive role. Like he's not in the action almost ever.
Yeah. He does.
I mean, Zuko's kind of the same.
Zuko. Yeah. I think Zuko is. I think you've got like.
No, I was only seeing the first season.
I know. I was gonna say no. I think you. No. I think in the first season, Zuko still is like he's the main antagonist.
He's a primary antagonist.
Yeah, he's a primary antagonist for a while.
He's 3/4 of the season, he is the primary antagonist. And for a quarter of that and half of the season in general, you get like Zhao, who is
Oh,
Zuko
dude, I love
and the Avatar's antagonist.
Michelle and I were talking earlier today about how when they do the live action, I would love to see Hugh Jackman. I'd love to see Hugh Jackman play Zhao because I think he'd be amazing at it.
I don't remember Zhao. Who's Zhao?
He's the Fire Lord, like naval admiral or whatever. Who
he's introduced as general. He gets promoted to admiral.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, he's a wild fire boy. He's just not good at it.
He's got sideburns for days.
It's not that he's not good at it. He's way too passionate about burning things down.
Turns out sometimes you do be having to burn things down, though.
It sounds familiar. I feel like if I saw him, I'd remember him, but I don't remember him. It's been a long time since I saw the show.
So Michelle and I have also been rewatching it. We've both seen it, and it's one of the shows we bonded over many years ago, but we haven't seen it since just because time and availability. It wasn't back on Netflix until in the last couple of weeks.
He looks so generic to me. It looks like every single character.
Fair.
That guy like literally does not ring a bell at all.
That's fair. No, I think it's super fair.
Holy cow, that's weird.
But yeah, so we've been rewatching it, and on this like new rewatch, I'm like Noah was saying, it's there's so much of that show that does not hold up in terms of like age difference. Like not because it's a bad show or anything, just because like I'm older now, and some of these things aren't landing as well as they would have when I was younger.
Yeah,
and a lot of
most of the serious moments are still good though.
No, exactly. And I was gonna say is that like some of the dialogue doesn't hold up as well, and some of the like beats don't hold up as well, and some things are a little contrived, but like the emotional through line of the show, for lack of a better word, and like the like it never feels like the show is just like gone completely off the rails. The show is very like carefully crafted in a way that like I feel like a lot of television is not. And I literally about 2 or 3 times an episode, Michelle and I would talk about how like, oh, like this musical sting is phenomenal and shows up later in the season. And this like character beat you see again way later when this character is doing another thing. Like, and things that kind of echo back on themselves in a way that like is just really satisfying.
Is very nice.
Their foreshadowing is phenomenal, and their payoffs for those are always satisfying. I can't think of a single time where they're like they set up this like character thing and then it doesn't pay off in some way, shape, or form way later on. Also, yeah, all the designs for everything, forever. Every character, every animal, every monster, every spirit, every single one looks. Every single one. Even Zhao. I think even Zhao, because he's like, even though like Jackson, when did you last watch it?
Probably like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's because he is like if we're talking Iroh as a secondary character, he's definitely a tertiary or even further down the line, because he just isn't. He's not as big of a deal, and he doesn't get any character growth of his own. He just kind of is an antagonist.
I was gonna say
good for him.
I don't think he's a tertiary character. I think he's just season 1 primary antag.
Yeah, and that works as well.
I just don't even remember it. Like even looking at him.
That's fair. I think that's super fair.
How is he so forgettable? I didn't even remember there was like that role.
Yeah, well, because you got to have somebody to be like, hey, Zuko, you're super banished.
The point of the role. It doesn't mean I remember the role.
But yeah, I don't know. The show to me is just extremely well crafted, and it has brought me a lot of nostalgia to be able to watch it again and to kind of look at it through now that I've grown as like a fucking consumer of media or whatever, to be able to be like, wow, look at all this stuff that I couldn't have known on the first watch through or the second watch through or the third watch through.
Now that you have a degree in watching media.
I didn't want to say that because I don't think that's actually what it is. I think it is just choosing to look at the show now through a different lens than what I did when I first watched it. Like with anything, if you watch it a second or third time, like you're going to notice more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But speaking of like Western animation, I think it's Western anyway. I watched the newest season of Castlevania on Netflix.
Yeah.
It is the greatest.
I've been really wanting to get into Castlevania, and I just haven't.
Same.
It's so unbelievably like it's kind of like this, like it's just so dumb, but like in not a bad, like it's like it suffers from being too epic. Like it's like the writing is very, very modern for something that's set in like the 1600s. But like so are the characters, and it's really interesting. Because you basically got like the main cast is like these like 3 functionally modern people, and they're living in like the 1600s, and there's reasons for it, because like Dracula has like super advanced technology and all that good stuff, because he's like basically the reason they gave is like, you guys remember how the Library of Alexandria burnt down? Be like, well, the Library of Dracula didn't. And you're like, well, I mean, yeah, sure.
Sure, why
kinda.
not?
I mean, the tracks, they didn't burn anything down in his house, so he still has access to like ancient knowledge, so he just like kept advancing things. That's like their reason. But the third season, like the writing is super like not even cringy at points, just like unfunny, but not like aggressively so.
Mhm.
And it's one of those where like the first 8 episodes of the season are like there's a little bit of action, but it's mostly like conversation and build up and like setting up like 4 different stories. And the last 2 episodes, actually, really just season 3, episode 9, is just like every pin knocking down at the same exact time in like the most unreal. Like when I was watching it, I was like cracking up because it's so ridiculously like over the top, like epic and symbolic and all this ridiculous stuff. Like there is literally, spoiler alert, there is a bisexual vampire threesome that is interracial, and it is cut between there's that, and then it cuts to a scene of a man using his like created creatures to swarm a magician's castle and cutting crowns of thorns off of people who are mind controlled, and it just like goes right back to the vampire 3-way sex scene. And then it cuts to a different sex scene in a dungeon where a vampire lord has seduced a man and is trying to make him actively become her slave through entrapment. And it's like, and it just like keeps cutting between these scenes. And then it also cuts to like the main characters fighting like this giant hell beast to shut a portal to infinite dimensions. And these scenes are all happening at the same time, and you get like 30 seconds of each before it switches.
I love it so much.
So it's like 30-second full frontal vampire sex scene, 30-second like man charging castle, cutting off crowns of thorns from a magician, 30-second vampire dungeon sex scene. So there's one of the female vampire and there's a male vampire. So it's really, it's for the fun for the whole family. And then it also just cuts to like the Belmont fighting a demon closing a portal to hell.
I do like this a lot. I like this as
It's
everything.
so insane. It's like giving you whiplash as you're watching it. Yeah, it's great.
That sounds amazing.
But also, like, if you are familiar with Castlevania at all, it like totally like it fits, it tracks.
Mhm.
Like the series is so like off the rocker, and like it doesn't even try to or need to make sense anymore. It's just here to have a good time.
Yeah, no, that's
I love it.
that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's
like that.
wonderful.
There's like
I would
definitely
really recommend it.
There's definitely
Also,
gonna be,
because it is
go ahead.
one
Sorry.
of the prettiest shows of all time. Like it is one of the best looking anime I think I've ever seen. It's fantastic looking, but it also suffers because it's so pretty and so well made and animated that whenever there's even like a couple frames that aren't up to the same bar, like they stick out like a sore thumb.
Oh no.
So like even 4 frames that like just aren't like were shoddily done, like stick out like a sore thumb. But the rest of the show's really pretty, and there's like insane, ridiculous, like it's insane. It's absolutely like bonkers watching it.
Yeah.
But only in like the 9th episode. So if you're really bored and you don't actually care about Castlevania at all, but you just want to watch something and you have Netflix, watch season 3, episode 9 of Castlevania with no context. It'll
No
probably be even
context
better.
whatsoever.
It'll probably be even better that way.
I kind of do. I do love the idea of just watching shows like one episode out of context and then basing your entire opinion on the show on that one episode.
That would be the best episode to do it on because you'd get the best opinion.
Fair.
It's just like it's so off the rockers, and the fact that the rest of the season not much happens.
But it all leads up to that moment.
Yeah, and then there's like some aftermath too in the final episode. Season 2 is also kind of the same thing where it's just like nothing's happening, everything's happening. That's it. See you later, guys. Have a good one. But it's fun. It's it's exciting.
To be fair, I feel like pacing in TV shows like that is so hard to do.
Yeah, and it's also like it doesn't take itself quite seriously enough to the point of like it really is worried about it. It's almost like you're watching it and you can see that the show is just like, it'd be cool. Like you can tell like the showrunners were like, so Alucard, what if we just had him have like, so these 2 people come over from Japan and like he trains them, and what if we just had him have like a threesome? But we also need to finish up the show, so this guy's gonna try and go to fight vampires, but let's just have him kill a magician first. Can we put heavily symbolic crowns of thorns on everyone controlled by the magician, by the way? Awesome. Cool. Now the guy in the dungeon who's been in a dungeon all season, what if we just had like one of the vampire ladies come down and just like hit on him, right? Like what if she just came down and was like, you want to bang? Like what if we did that? Okay, so cool. We do have to close up that portal to hell that we established, so we should also probably get that going. Maybe have like Trevor Belmont go down there and I don't know, whip some demons or something with the fire lady and his friend who has a stopwatch. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a wrap, guys. That's the season.
There you go.
That's exactly how it feels like it went down, but it's still like really well done, and it's just fun.
I love it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love it a lot.
Yeah, no, it's really worth watching, and it's really pretty. There's also like some good plot elements in there. Season 2 is much better than season 3 in my opinion, but season 3 is way more off the rails. So I would recommend Castlevania on Netflix. The reason I don't talk about season 1 is it's only 5 episodes and it's basically a setup for season 2.
That's fair.
Because it was a limited series that they did basically as like a, hey, what if we made a Castlevania anime? And everyone was like, well, this is great. And then they were like, okay. It was kind of like a haha unless.
Yeah.
And so then they made like the actual second season, which is the best, and it's got like some good moments. But the pacing is also weird. But because it's like a better season, the fact that the pacing is weird hurts it more. Does that make sense? Like you almost hate to see it get paced badly. Where the third one, you're like, yeah, this is crazy.
That sounds
That's my review of Netflix Castlevania.
I feel
no,
like,
I'm here for this.
You should check it out. It's really absurd, and I would love to hear your take on it. It's not too long. It's only 10 episodes in the second and third season, 5 in the first. So it's 25 episodes.
Oh, that's not bad at all. It's super 100% have watched things I was less interested in for longer. So,
and even if you guys don't care at all or want to watch it, season 3, episode 9, it's off the rails.
I do love it. I love it a lot.
And we're off the air. My name's Jackson, but I don't think I said that at all.
You didn't. You didn't say it, but we kind of all got there. We all got there together.
Yeah, we get there. It's a team effort. I also watched Drive last night.
Drive? I haven't seen Drive in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen Drive since basically it came out.
I
talked about it not that long ago. And
I saw that and I didn't like it,
like,
if memory serves.
Yeah, that's the one with
I think you just said it was like. I think you just said it was like Bad Baby Driver.
I did say that. Yeah, it was.
Which then, having watched it again, that makes me very angry that you think that.
That's fair, because I had a lot of people tell me I was wrong with that take, that was a bad take.
I also think that, like, on a level, they can be compared to Baby Driver because it's just like driving movies, organized crime. But like Baby Driver is like, I don't want to say less gritty,
but it is,
and I don't want to say it's like Marvel versus DC, but it kind of is.
No,
where it's just
fair.
like one of them is clearly like designed to have like characters that are memorable and more likable, and one of them is just like, hey, what if this guy who never gives out any of his information and is super reclusive loses everything because he cares once?
Can we talk about that as like as a trope, just real quick?
Yeah, fire away.
0 to 10 on that at being a like a trope that's always seems very common, where the protagonist is everything is, especially if they die. Like if you get a happy ending in the end, it's fine. But if like you die or like the whole story ends on a downer note because you cared the one time, but that one person got away, that's not a great look. Like you shouldn't be like, you never care even once, because though it'll help other people, you might get hurt. Like just, I don't know.
But I feel like they never. A lot of times when that kind of thing happens, they don't portray it in a never care. That's the moral of the story. But rather like, there are things I guess worth dying for, and maybe you should like stick out your neck every once in a while. That's usually the way they play it off, which makes more sense.
Which
than
makes
just
more
being,
sense. Yeah,
looks like you're an idiot for caring once.
I would agree that is how I think they try to portray it. But I feel like there are, and I'm struggling to come up with specific examples right now. But like I feel like I've definitely seen things where it's like, where the message just doesn't quite hit properly, and so it comes across as very much a don't care even once, because then your whole life will collapse.
Yeah, Drive. No spoilers, because it's really worth watching if you haven't seen it. But I also do like the director, the Nicholas Winding Refn. I like Neon Demon quite a bit. Actually, I think I had that one on Blu-ray. Yeah, he's a good director. I like his style. I like the way that he, like, a lot of the scenes are lit really interestingly. Like pretty much every scene, like lighting means quite a bit with it. Like where the lighting is really like in your face, and that's fun. And then that's something that like I don't watch movies or analyze them, but like I even notice that when watching these movies. So like that's how in your face it is. Like I'm the further thing from a film reviewer, but I can be like, wow, the lighting actually means something in these quite a bit. So if that's any tell for you, yeah, they're fun though. Neon Demon I think I like better than Drive. Maybe, I don't know. They're both good, but I haven't watched Drive in forever, and I watched it recently, so it was fun.
Yeah,
it
one of
felt
those
nice.
things where they're kind of like. What do you call? Kind of like Drive and Baby Driver, how you can kind of compare them because same director, but also they're very different. So like you also can't kind of things.
Well, Baby Driver.
Yeah, those aren't the same director.
Did not have the same director.
I thought you just said that Drive did Neon Demon.
Oh yeah,
Drive
but you said
Neon
Baby
Demon.
Driver.
Right. How kind of like how they're similar movies, switch point, Neon Demon.
okay, got it.
Yeah, Neon Demon and Drive as
Oh, yeah, they're totally different subject matter. One's about like modeling, and one's
Mhm.
about
Yeah,
Drive.
I recognize the name Neon Demon. I'm not sure why.
it's because Jackson's
I've
talked
definitely
about
never seen it.
at
I've
least
never
6
seen it,
different
but
times.
it's a movie I like. Yeah, I hold it in pretty high esteem, and it's also one of like the few Blu-rays I own, so I probably talked about it a lot. It's fun. It's a very unsettling movie. But yeah, Drive is cool. The only thing I didn't like about it, really, like the biggest thing I didn't like, is that a woman who with an armful of silly bands had both Ryan Gosling and Oscar Isaac fall in love with her. So figure that one out. That's all I'm saying. Both of those, sure. And for sense of a movie, Oscar Isaac, yeah, whatever. I guess I could see one of the two falling for a girl with silly bands in her arm. Both of them, though, you're telling me that Oscar Isaac and Ryan Gosling fell for the same person? Unless that person is like the definition of perfect, I don't know. I don't buy it. Like that's too good to be true. Arm full of silly bands. Now, granted, the movie's like 2012, 2011, so I still don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two catches.
That was one thing I liked about Drive is how very dated the costuming felt, even though the movie was not as old as I immediately assumed it was. Because I'm gonna be honest, dude, I watched that movie and I'm like, oh, this movie was made in like 2003, 2006, and it wasn't. It's like what, 2012, 2011. Yeah. And it's like, oh no, this is 2011, but all these outfits
I think
look
maybe,
so wonderfully dated, and it honestly made me very happy.
I think even when the outfits, another reason it might feel dated is it's got like a lot of the I don't know what they're like the term for it is, but like the classic like early 2000s parking garage lighting. You know what I'm talking about? Like you see in like you see in like The Departed, like it's in like The Departed everywhere. Like that kind of like lighting is really big because there's a lot of time spent in like parking garages and different garages. So it kind of gives you like that this is a 2005 movie aesthetic because a lot of movies back then capture that light a lot. The Fast and the Furious, like the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a fair read.
Scorpion Jacket is also sick as hell. And I get it. It's tropey. It's cringy. Guys are like, I want to get the Scorpion Jacket and Drive. Yeah, you're right. That is pretty cringy if you want to get that. But it is sick as hell. From an outside perspective, you look at it, you're like, that's dope.
Things can be sick and also cringy. And it's a problem.
I feel like
and that's the Scorpion Jacket.
I feel
Drive.
like it's more cringy now than it was when it came out, because when it came out, there was no anything attached to it. And now there is.
Yeah, can we? No, I don't want to talk about people ruining everything for everyone else.
Yeah,
That's
we're
fine.
too late in the episode to talk about that.
Deep.
Regardless,
Yeah, we've gotten too deep.
Ruin anything.
But
yeah, it's kind of like getting like the wallet from Pulp Fiction, or like I don't know what from Fight Club, but something from Fight Club.
No, everything from Fight Club.
Yeah, but like what's like
I guess Tyler
like
Durden's
article
jacket
of clothing.
The soap. It's the soap.
Yeah, but how are you gonna like flex on having the soap to people? It's in your shower.
Oh, I've seen people take. I've seen that. That's a thing.
I've seen that.
You've seen someone like walking around with a Fight Club soap and like, hey guys, check this Fight Club soap out.
They'll lather it up in their hand and get themselves like an artistic photo of it. Or they'll like
try to
put it on their like the table in their.
Yeah, I guess there is social media does exist. I forget this sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
Like,
to
how
forget.
are you gonna show your friends your soap? That's weird.
Yeah, you know, I invite you over and I show you my soap. I don't know what your point is.
I showed you my soap. Please respond.
You just like invite your friends over and like give them a whole bunch of water and be like, hey, you need to use the bathroom?
Hey,
have, like, the Fight
did you
Club
notice
soap
my
in
soap in the bathroom?
You ever been somewhere where they use bar soap as like something to wash your hands with?
Yeah,
I
prefer
that
it
so much.
I don't prefer it because I don't trust it. You know.
No, fair.
Just
I
give
think
me,
it's a
like,
fair thing.
Give me a little foaming soap. You know, I love a little foaming soap.
That's fair. I personally prefer bar soap just in general, but it's not like so big a deal that I'm like, oh, give me that bar soap.
Oh, I prefer bar soap for like, you know,
but that's in the shower though, not for like hand washing.
No, I'm talking hands. I don't prefer it in the shower, but I do prefer it in like at a sink.
Why?
Not obviously in like a public space, just like in my own home.
Yeah, is there a reason?
No, I don't have a good reason for it. Just personal preference.
I'll accept that you enjoy it more at your home than you would in a public space, but I personally can't.
I think that's totally fair. No, I totally get that.
I only don't like it because I don't like how long it takes to dry out, and it doesn't, you know?
Yeah, no, it stays wet and soapy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also like, especially in a public place, like who touched that last?
Yeah, no, super fair. No, that I totally agree with.
If you're in a public place and they don't have an automatic soap dispenser, especially if they have like, now maybe this isn't as common a thing as what I've run into, but some of the venues I have played at had zip tied soap, like pump soap dispensers to a wall. And that is shady as hell.
Yeah, no, that's no good.
I don't mind a pump soap dispenser. I realize that that's definitely like the more economical option for any kind of like small business.
Mm-hmm.
Because automatic soap dispensers are a huge waste if you're not like balling out.
And it is one of those things where I'm like, I want to get mad about it, but like the certain places I'll go there and I'll get it. But if it's a place that's like established at all,
wait, why does a pump make you mad though? Like a pump
the
soap,
pump
because like you're washing your hands immediately after anyway.
Well, here's the thing: if it's a bathroom that is like employees only, pump soap is fine for me. But if it's in a bathroom that is open to the public, like I don't know why, but I hate it a lot and I trust it very little.
Do you want the? You'd prefer the like motion sensor?
Yeah, I just like not having to touch it.
I get that, but you touch it before immediately washing your hands with soap.
This is true, and
the negative effect is kind of
it's a
whereas
thing,
like the bar soap, like there's things that you can get on a bar of soap that a bar of soap isn't automatically like getting rid of.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like the pump soap is a pretty innocent thing.
It depends on it. I guess it more depends on the pump soap. If they aren't even keeping the pump clean, then like there's like many levels of issues. A pump soap zip tied into a soap holder.
Yeah, no, that's no way.
It's kind of weird.
Do not want that at all.
I had nothing against it though. It's still, as long as there's soap inside.
Yeah, that is the next very important thing is when those are there and then they're also empty. That is actually frustrating. Or no, the worst one is when it's replaced with just a hand sanitizer.
I hate that.
That's bad.
I hate hand sanitizer.
I don't mind it, but you can't substitute it for soap.
Just skin dryer.
It really do be like that.
I like hand sanitizer, but yeah, no, not to the point where I'd replace soap with it. Yeah. Speaking of things that aren't getting replaced,
is it you as a co-host of Off the Air?
Not me.
I was gonna try and turn it into an Audible plug, and I didn't have anything, and I was hoping it would come to me as I went.
Oh.
Speaking of things that are getting replaced, I'll be gone by the end of the month.
Yeah.
All applause.
Why are you leaving by the end of the month?
We finally got the robot. We sprung and got the robot.
Oh, about time. I was hoping it would happen.
Hell yeah.
We all knew it would happen sooner or later.
Thanks to all our patrons.
Thanks to all our patrons who helped us on this day. And if you wanna help us pay this horrible debt that we've now accrued because we bought a robot to replace Jackson, no, where would they go?
True. Wait, what if? Okay, so we got a robot to replace one of us. Audience has to vote to see who gets replaced.
I think we
Jackson is gone.
Jackson, I think we just.
we rigged the vote.
I was gonna say I think we rigged the vote and make it so Noah's gone. We get the robot to do the editing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get behind that.
Cool.
audibletrial.com/offtheair. There you go. You can go there. You can get a free trial of Audible. However, there's other things that we can do because we got to wrap up. So
yeah, we got to get out of here.
In that beautiful, smooth as silk closing, you can find me as Bubba the Bad, BUBBADABAD. I am on all places that you need to find me on as that. Streaming every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday until quarantine is over at 6 p.m. EST. Then after it's done, I'll probably pick back up at like 7 again. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Playing games and all that stuff. Dan, how about you? Where are you at?
You can also find me at twitch.tv/BornRule and twitter.com/BornRule57. And that's about it. And I'm also streaming on Thursdays and Saturdays. But it's kind of more of a nebulous, when are we going to start? Who knows? When are we going to end? Yeah, that's about it. That's all it is. That's all I am. That's who I am now.
Jackson, you're on TikTok, right?
Yeah, if you need to be in contact with me, I will throw a rock through your window with a note attached to it.
There you go.
You know who you are.
And you can find the podcast at facebook.com/OTA podcast, twitter.com @TheOffTheAir, and patreon.com/OffTheAir. If you want to donate money to us there, you can $1 right now will unlock all of our bonus content. There are what is it, 3? I think it's 3. It might be 4. This thing looks like it's saying it's 4 things, so that's fantastic.
4 things.
But yeah, you got that stuff. And if you'd like to support us in a non-monetary fashion, then you can go to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review and give us a 5-star review and then leave us something to say. If you leave us a 5-star, we will read it out for you. Even if you don't listen on iTunes, this is a step that actually really does help us a lot if you can. So
we'll just do whatever.
Yeah, it's appreciated.
Never give up.
Never surrender.
Yeah, believe in yourself.